Hey guys, happy day 6. Today is the day that I would normally do a quick quiz just to see how we are. I actually normally would have done maybe like a couple of like little exit slips or entrance slips. I think I included an entrance slip in your packet actually, where I ask you to decide if something is a prism or a pyramid, just a quick check-in. So you probably saw that in your notes packet because I think I slipped that in. But I kind of combined a couple of quizzes for today's quiz. I took one question from a quick quiz and added it to a quiz that had a little bit more problems. So there's like, you know, a good variety. There's a problem of every type just about, just to see how you guys are doing with your surface area. So today's math meme of the day is geometry, the only place where dinosaurs still exist. As you try and figure out how tall the dinosaur is based on you knowing your height. Clearly got cut off here a little bit. So day 6, we've got what I call surface area roundup. So before you take the quiz, you can do these problems for practice, or another option could be you take the quiz first and see how you're doing, and then once you feel like, oh, I need practice on this type of problem, you can pick out some practice problems from here. So it's kind of whatever you would prefer. You can do these before or after the quiz, either as a diagnostic or to assist you in fixing difficulties. Okay, so we have surface area of a cone. This one, let's see. So I need to find my area of my circle, which is pi times radius of, let's see, if the whole thing is 8, my radius will be 4. Pi times 4 squared is my area. So area equals 16 pi. And then I also need the purple part, which remember, that looks like a Pac-Man shape if you uncurl it. It's kind of like a flattened tent. So the area of that, remember, is pi times radius times slant height, which is this guy here. Just a quick reminder, your formula sheet is that last page in your packet. There's 2 of them just because I normally give you half sheets. Remember, in your formula sheet for cone, they only tell you the lateral surface area, which is just that yellow bit, like the Pac-Man-like shape. You have to also remember that for your total surface area, you would want to add the circle, which is pi times radius squared. Okay. Here we go. So pi times radius times slant height. It's going to be pi times radius times 20. Oops, my radius, I should have added that too. Pi times radius of 4 times 20. It's going to be 80 pi. Add these together, we're going to get 96 pi. I'll add in my units of inches squared. Okay. I'm just going to do a quick check and see. I don't think there's any other cones except for number 4. So I'm just going to do number 4 just to get a couple of cones in for practice. So first I might find my area of my circle. Pi times radius of 6 squared, which is going to be 6 times 6, 36 pi. Then I'm going to do my lateral bit. Area of that is pi times radius times my slant, which is 12. Okay, it's going to be 72 pi. Add these together, that's 100. Excuse me, guys, I'm really tired. I'm just yawning through this video. Apologize. It's going to be 108 pi inches squared. And then it looks like the next problems that we have, the next couple, are some cylinders. So cylinders are really good at practice. Let's start with number 2. So for cylinder, remember you have your 2 circles. And my pen has decided to not work. There we go. We got 2 circles. And then remember, if you take this middle bit, what's called the lateral or the side surface area, and you uncurl it, it's going to actually be a rectangle. And the rectangle is going to be too tall. And then this, remember, if I curl it back together, that side, or same thing, the bottom, is going to be the circumference of my circle, which is 2 times pi times radius of 6. And that's equal to 12 pi. So if I want to find the area of that yellow rectangle, I do my base of 12 pi times my height of 2. That's going to be 24 pi. And then for each circle, pi times radius of 6 squared It's going to be 36 pi. Since there's 2, I'm going to double, and I'm going to call that 72 pi. And then we need to add them together. That's going to be, it looks like 96 pi inches squared. Okay, so the hardest thing with a cylinder, I would say, is just recognizing how to find the area of this being the same as a rectangle. I think that's probably the hardest thing to do. This one, your height is 9.5. Your base is 2 times pi times radius of 4. It's going to be 8 pi. So my area is going to be 8 pi times 9.5. If I do that real quick on my calculator, we're going to get 76 pi. Okay, and then I need my 2 circles. So area is pi times radius of 4 squared. That's going to be 16 pi times 2, because there's 2 of them. It's going to be 32 pi. Added together, that's going to be 108 pi inches squared. And I think you guys have probably noticed the pattern. If you look at the directions, this was supposed to be, you did it in partners. And it's kind of entertaining. Let's see. When finished, problems in the same row will have the same answer. If that doesn't happen, try and figure out what went wrong. So partner A would have done this problem, partner B would have done this one, and they have the same answer. So what you'll notice is we have the same answer across rows as we keep going. And that was just to help you guys with your partner practice, figure out if you made a mistake somewhere along the line. So this one is your surface area of your box, which the formal term is a rectangular prism. It is the same as this one down here is a triangular prism. And remember, a prism is where you have the 2 bases that match, and the whole shape is made if you stack a bunch of those bases on top of each other. So you can kind of picture like all those triangles were stacked, and they made that wedge kind of like shape. Now this one is a little bit different from our rectangular prism, because your base could really be any of the sides. Like I could have stacked going this way, right, and had a bunch of squares. Oh, that looks like it's a rectangle, it's 6 and 8. But I also could have stacked having my bases be the front and the back. So rectangular prisms are kind of a weird one in that you don't have 2 bases that are really easy to pick out, because any of your pairs could have been bases. So my front and my back, let's see, are 12 inches, and it looks like this is supposed to be there, that's supposed to be there, by 6, which the area of that is 72, and then if I double that, my total area is going to be 144. And sometimes with rectangular prisms, I just kind of don't write out all the work like I did in earlier videos. So if I do that doubled, I get 96. Let's see, I need to do top slash bottom. Top and bottom is 12 by 8. That one's a little harder to see. The 12 is here, the 8 is here, because it's the same as that length. That's right below it. So that area is going to be 96 times 2 is 192. And then those all put together, so 192 plus 96 plus 144 should be 432 inches squared. And then we're going to do our triangular prism. Now our triangular prism, remember you want to kind of break it up. So I've got 2 triangles, and they're 8 here, 6 here. Remember, your base and your height need to be making a right angle to each other. So if this is your base and this is your height, you gotta have that right angle. So your area is going to be 8 times 6 divided by 2. And then remember, you're going to take that 24 and double it. So some people kind of recognize the pattern of, instead of dividing by 2, because you're going to double it anyway, you just kind of pause there. Some people figure out that pattern and kind of use that to speed up their work a little bit. So there's my triangles. I'm going to call this pink guy my front. and that's 16. Now they don't tell you what this side is right here. This side is like the same as here. However, I do have a right triangle, so if I did 8 squared plus 6 squared, that would be my c squared. If you do that, you're going to get 64 and 36, which is 100 equals c squared, which means this side length is 10. That means you're... Sorry guys, I accidentally closed the app, which paused my recorder, and I did more work and I did not notice it had stopped. So your area of your front is 10 times 16, which is 160. Notice there's just one front, there's not two, so you don't double or anything. I've also done my front and, my bottom and my back, which I've shown in the picture. The back is the green, the bottom is the blue. When I added all my areas together, including my 48 as well, I got 432, which did in fact match my previous problem, so that means it was correct. And then I had just started number 7 when I realized that my recording had paused. So for this one, all I had done so far was drawn my 2 triangles and found the area of one triangle, which was 7.5, and doubled it to get 15. So you didn't miss too much. And then if I do my back, I'm going to do that in green, so that back rectangle here. And I think I'm going to kind of shrink this work just to have a little bit more space. And so this is my back. See, my back is, looks like they've labeled that as 5.4 going long ways. And then it's 6 tall. So it's going to be 32.4. My bottom, I'm going to do my bottom is 5.4, 2.5, just 13.5. And then remember your front, it's a little hard to see. Your front's this guy here. Kind of try and color code that. There we go. So front, it's that rectangle. It's 5.4 in one dimension. And same thing as that last problem, this side is not given to us, which matches with this one if we were to like kind of put it on top of the figure. So to get that side, I'm going to do my work here on the side. I'm going to do 6 squared plus 2.5 squared equals c squared. And 6 squared is 36. 2.5 squared is 6.25. If I add that to my 36, I'm going to get 42.25 equals c squared. If I square root that, it looks like c equals 6.5. So that side is 6.5. That same side matches the picture at 6.5. To get my area of my rectangle, I'm going to multiply my base and my height. Okay, and remember, only the triangles got doubled because there are only 2 of the triangles. Okay, I'm now adding everything together. So I've got my 35.1, my 15, my 13.5, and my 32.4 comes out to 96 inches square, which is a pretty nice number. And then let's try the next one. So this one should also be 96 inches squared. This one is a little bit of a throwback. We haven't seen a pyramid in a little while. So for your pyramid, and this picture is not so good. I'm going to pause and double check my document to see if there's an error in the printing of this. Okay, so I've consulted, and this 4 is for that height, and this 6 is the side. It just kind of printed a little funky. Sorry about that, guys. Technology is so fun. So we're going to be assuming, I think I should have said in the direction that it's a square pyramid, so the base is a square. So I'm going to draw in that the area of my base is 36. And then here's the trick, and this has come up a couple times before, but just to see it again. Now for my triangle, I need that slant height, right? The height that makes that right angle with my base. Now the only way to get it is to use the height of the overall pyramid being 4 and connect it to make a right triangle. So here's our right triangle. We know that the height of the pyramid is 4. We're calling this x and we're looking for it. Now the base, you should be able to figure that out because otherwise you're stuck. Here's the trick. All the way across is going to be 6 if that's the side of your square. This is half of that, so half of 6 is going to be 3. If you do 3 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared, you're going to get 25 equals x squared, which means x is 5. So if you were to do your triangles, your height is going to be 5, your base is going to be 6,